Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. My name is Rebecca Ravenbird and today I'm going to be talking about an upcoming update that is going to really change the game for us. It's going to be pretty massive of an update. So I'm going to put the screenshot on the screen right now as I read it to you guys and we'll talk about it and my thoughts. So it says, some of you may have noticed that I have added a new Discord event called World Overhaul and Island Updates. I want to give everybody some info about it now as this will be a major change to the game. So what's going to change? Right now, when you travel between islands, you remain on the same server due to the fact that the entire game's world exists on one singular server file. This is what will be changing. Each island will exist on a different server file from each other. This means that when you travel to a different island, you'll be transported to a different server which hosts that specific island and none of the others. Okay, so that's really interesting. So let's break it down from there. So right now, basically what this means is here I am on my private island right now, and this exists in the world. Okay, so let's call the world world letter A. Okay, so if we come all the way over here and we try to go to another island, all of these islands are on the same world. I think that's what he's trying to say. So all like Volcano Island is on world A, Blizzard Island is on world A all over the place. So I think what he's trying to say is that Mountain Island will be like world B, and then world C, world D, world E, things like that. So I think that's what that means, but let's continue reading just to see if that changes. Here's a simplified explanation for what you can expect as a result of this world overhaul. Improved game performance for every player, regardless of how good your device is. Less FPS drops. Okay, so FPS is frames per second. Or freezing, lower latency and server lag. Okay, so server lag is basically saying like if there's like a lot of people on the server and or there's a lot of things happening on the server at one time, that means that the game doesn't perform as well. So let's see, what else does it say? Lower memory usage, resulting in less crashing for lower-end or mobile devices. Okay, so personally, I have actually been crashing a lot lately. I've been getting disconnected and things like that, as well as experiencing some general lag. Usually I don't lag too bad, but when I do lag, it sucks because then sometimes like if I'm in the middle of a trade or if I'm in the middle of like a breeding thing or I'm at somebody's auction or something like that and the server lags or I lag, that could mean that my trades don't go through, my money doesn't go through or anything like that. So obviously server lag is bad. So let's see, graphical updates and changes to all current islands, more detail and expansiveness. So that sounds more just like cosmetic updates, like they're just going to make things look a little prettier or a little more detailed, I guess. Let's see, point number 3, massively increased island immersion. Lots of other players on your island all the time, no matter what. Private servers will still function as expected. Okay, I don't know what he means by that. Massively increased island immersion. Lots of other players on your island all the time. Why would we want more players on our island? I'm not sure what he means by that. I'm really curious if you guys understand that, so let me know in the comments. There will be room for an endless amount of new islands to be added in the future, as well as room for an immersive storyline to be added in the game, which will come in the near future. Okay. So here, basically, I think what he's saying is now that each island is going to be hosted on a different world, we're going to have like way more islands. So an island over here, an island over here, island over here, all of this stuff. So we already have a pretty good variety of islands and each island is pretty big. So I think that's pretty interesting now that we can kind of add more new biomes and new places to use and things like that. As well as the fact that he said we're going to be adding a storyline to the game. Personally, I am not interested in any sort of storyline. I play Star Stable and I've been pretty soured by the Star Stable storyline and how that has played out. I'm really not interested in any sort of storyline or lore or history of the game or anything like that. Maybe every once in a while I will do a quest with one of the NPCs, but personally I'm not interested in any sort of storyline. And hopefully it will not impact the gameplay because the gameplay is all based on economy, right? It's all based on trading and selling and exchanges and auctions and things like that. Versus adding a storyline, I don't want a storyline that will block me from getting certain items, if you know what I mean. So, let's see. Here's what he says next. So here's a more detailed explanation for why. Currently, there's 12, even more than when events are running. There are 12 large-scale islands, all within one server, regardless of whether or not they are currently being accessed by a player. This increases lag for both the game server and your device. By reducing this to one island per server, we will effectively improve specific performance metrics by potentially up to 1000%. Okay. So what he's saying is once he separates all of these islands onto separate worlds, basically, separate servers, the game is not going to lag as much. Okay, this is massive and will result in an incredibly improved gameplay experience for everybody in the game, regardless of how good your device is. Okay, so that's actually a nice thing to hear because a lot of games nowadays, you need a pretty decently up-to-date device with pretty good graphics cards, pretty good RAM, and things like that. But not everybody has that kind of access, right? Some people have hand-me-down devices that they got from their family, older devices that are just getting older by the day and things like that, or people don't have the money or resources to upgrade their own devices. So it's good that the game is trying to be accessible to all players on all devices. Okay, the next point is islands are currently designed in a very simple way. Lack of details, low poly resolution, meshes and textures, and expansiveness. Okay, so what he means by the low polyness, I'm not sure how well you can see it if there's anything on this island that will kind of give that away. But basically, I think, like, if we maybe take a look here at these rocks, this is not the most detailed rock texture or ground texture you could get. So I think that's what he's trying to say. He's trying to improve some of these kind of things, just to make it more detailed and more realistic looking, which we kind of already got with the updated trees and things like that. Let's see. Islands are currently designed in a very simple way due to the negative performance implications of the current island implementation as mentioned above. With this world overhaul, we will enable ourselves to design the islands in a much more visually exciting way, as well as increase the expansiveness of each island at the same time. Okay, so if he's saying that he's planning on making the islands bigger, I don't want that. Personally, I think they're fine the way that they are, but I think maybe also what he's saying is that he's making room for islands to grow, if that makes any sense. Like, if they should come. Like, if he really wanted to, he could just bump out the edge of this island right now, and it would be really easy to implement that. I don't actually know. But I think also, too, it would be nice to make it so that your private island was more expansive, to the point where you can have more buildings and more structures, and the fact that you can move buildings around and stuff like that. So, like, I can take my private writing arena and move it like over there or something like that, and I take my stable that I have, everybody has their stable in the middle of the island, right? So take the stable and move it over here or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. Okay, point number 3. Additionally, when you join a public server right now, the majority of players are on the mainland, Training Island, Stable Island, with a few others spread out across the rest of the islands. This means that most of the islands are basically empty all the time. I'm sure you notice when traversing the higher levels such as volcano, lunar, jungle, or mountain that you see basically no other players while you're there. How boring. With this world overhaul, each island will feel much more alive, as all the players on your server will be on the same island as you. Okay, so I think, yeah, what he's saying is I think what he's saying, I'm not actually sure, is whenever you log into the game, you typically are defaulted to your stable island or the mainland, right? When you first log in, and then you have to travel to wherever you want to go. When you're here, you're still in World A, right? So you're World A Volcano Island, World A Royal Island, World A, what is this, Blizzard Island. So when you log in, or let's say you go to Volcano Island and then you log out, and then when you relog in, you come back to Volcano Island, and everybody that goes to Volcano Island will be there instead of on the mainland. So I think that's what he's saying. I'm not quite sure. But at the same time, I feel like that might negatively impact everybody in terms of resource farming, because like it's nice to go to an empty island. Like you see right now, there's somebody here on Lunar Islands, but there's nobody here. Everybody else is kind of on the mainland, just kind of hanging out by Larry. But then Mountain Island, there's nobody here, and then Forest Island, there's nobody here. Desert Island, there's somebody, but I just feel like it might negatively impact how we're able to get resources and horses, because if everybody's here, then everybody's looking for the same resources. And then that means like, oh, if I'm trying to get a fawn and there's a fawn right here and somebody is near there, they've already gotten it and things like that. So I'm not sure if I'm getting that right. But that's kind of just my first impression of that. Okay, so let's see. We've literally run out of physical space to put islands in the world, meaning we're very limited with what we can do in terms of adding new content and islands. Separating islands by servers will allow us to add an endless amount of them in the future. Okay, here's the thing. I don't want an endless amount of islands. I would like a couple of more. I would like a few more islands to, have a little bit more, I don't know, I guess immersion, a little bit more to the biomes, right? So it would be nice to kind of have like a savanna biome or something like that. But I don't think we need to expand the world by too much. I'm not sure what the community generally thinks about that, but I think if you just added like 3 more islands here and 3 more islands here, that's already 6 new islands. That would be pretty good in my opinion. But we shall see. Okay, then he says, a few important notes and disclaimers. We are aware of the various balancing and mechanical issues that will be required due to this major change, such as horse and resource spawn rates, horse capturing mechanics, etc. Don't worry. Okay, so he kind of addressed what I was talking about a minute ago about the resources, right? Like if everybody is on Mountain Island when you spawn in, everybody's going to be farming the same resources. So hopefully what that means is he's going to increase the spawn rates of everything, as well as decreasing the cooldown of when horses respawn. Because like if you capture all 12 horses on Mountain Island or whatever, and then you like go to another island or something, I think it takes a little time for those horses to respawn here. So I think that's what is going on here. I don't know. Point number 3. Some servers will have a couple of different islands on them. For example, Tutorial Island will exist on the same server as the mainland. Here's the thing. I've always wanted to go back to Tutorial Island because I never really, when I first started the game, I didn't really pay attention to the surroundings or anything. And then, of course, you get thrown into the mainland once you're done with the tutorial. But I want to go back to Tutorial Island. It's cute. You get to maybe meet new starters, help them out, things like that. I would love to go back to Tutorial Island. Okay. Stable Island is a special case and may exist on all servers for ease of access. However, we've not finalized this yet. Okay, so I think what he means by that is with the new update, when Volcano Island becomes World B and World C and World D and World E and things like that, Stable Island does not exist on the main map. You're only able to get through it by the boat here. Sorry, my horse is spazzing out here, but I think what he's saying is that the island is going to exist in the same world as, like, if you're on the volcano world, you'll also be able to access Stable Island at the same time, instead of like it's hard to explain because I'm interpreting this for the first time, but I think that's what he's trying to say. Okay, the Trading and Breeding Hub update will be the first official implementation of this new server system and will help us figure out some more specifics for the World Overhaul update in March. Okay, so it's coming in March. It looks like it says March 22nd. Ooh, so March 22nd is the same day as the new supposed horse breed is going to come out. I think that's when it is. But okay, so it's coming in March, so it's about 3 or so months from now. So I'm interested. I'm a little bit nervous for this update, considering what he said about like the resource farming, as well as just like the general performance issues. I've noticed them. My friend has also noticed them as well. Gio, my good friend Gio has noticed like she's been lagging a lot lately, and I think everyone else has been noticing that too. Like, oh, I keep getting disconnected. I'm sorry, I got disconnected. Things like that. I keep seeing that a lot in the chats. So, yep. Look. Literally, I'm back. I got kicked. Literally, somebody just mentioned it. Wow. Okay. So anyways, oh, this person has such a cute reindeer plush. It matches the horse so well. Oh my gosh, I wish I could trade that. Anyways, so yeah, it's very interesting. But the thing is, he's saying like they're gonna implement it in March, but aren't they kind of already doing that with the Unicorn Academy? So with the Unicorn Academy, what you have to do to do the portal battle thing is you get transported to another server when for that to occur. So I think I feel like that's the same thing. I'm not totally sure. I think maybe he's saying that because it'll be the first permanent edition of that feature, because Unicorn Academy is going to leave in a couple of days here. It's going to leave on like January 6th or 12th or something like that. And the whole portal of you being transported to another server to do the Unicorn Academy battle thing is is temporary. It's going to leave. But this whole thing with the trading hub and the breeding hub thing is going to be permanent. So, okay, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm curious to see if you understand the update. I'm not totally sure if I'm understanding it correctly, but that's why I'm bringing this video to you guys so you guys can talk about it and discuss your thoughts on it. So, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.